those of us who are single are free from attachment to a partner, which is a good thing. Now, just hear me out. I'm not saying that you're bad if you're in a relationship, but I just want to say something for those of us who are single, because especially those of us who are women who are single, or even guys who've got a lot going on, a lot of the guys who leave comments on my videos, when you have reached like a level of discernment and happiness with your own life, you can actually be free of attachment of needing another person to fulfill you, complete you, because a lot of relationship is based on need, dependency, and looking to someone else to either complete you or love you unconditionally. I think that at the bottom of every relationship wish is that this person's going to love me unconditionally the way that my mommy did. Their romantic love is based on mommy love or daddy love, if we're really honest about it. And even people in relationships are usually not completely satisfied, at least not for long, because there is no unconditional love in a relationship. You can start getting more of like a brotherly love for your partner, usually. For few people, the sexual energy is maintained, but I think a lot of people fall more into like a friendship and like a brotherly, sisterly love, which is still not unconditional, but it's, can kind of deepen to that level. Not all couples are able to get to that point. But those of us who are single, we have learned that we have found a peace and a contentment that doesn't rely on another person to complete us or give us security or provide for us, caretaking, acceptance, provisioning, cleaning, cooking, companionship. Because in the end, we all have to be complete in ourselves, financially, emotionally, mentally. And I did notice that, when I was first divorced, and that was a hard change, you guys, I had the thought of like, why would I get into a relationship again? Because my marriage was about, I want to have a family. I want to have children. But I already had my children. So I was like, okay, so relationships are for people who can't be happy alone. I went through that for quite a few years. Then I started seeing that people in relationship had problems that they were overcoming. And I thought, well, I want to try that. I want to have a relationship so I can work on the stuff that I was never able to work on with my husband because he didn't want to. And relationship can be an opportunity for growth because I have to work on things, face my challenges, face my whatever, it's work. But then other people say relationship shouldn't be work, and it really shouldn't be. It should add to our lives, amplify. But if we're really honest, a lot of elements of relationship and even of sex remind me of the unconditional love that a mother gives her infant. Because a lot of sexual positions, at least the ones where people are not completely intimacy avoidant and detached, they're frontal positions. They're frontal positions like missionary, even girl riding on top, even downward dog. You might have to look up the woman on her belly, the man laying on top of her on her back, thrusting from behind. That only works with men whose penises are long enough. Those are more sensual positions, especially missionary, which is what a lot of people like. A lot of men, especially, they want the kissing, they want the eye contact, the chest on chest, the holding, the hugging. That's a sensual part of sex, unless people are like very damaged and then they just want to do like reverse positions or cause pain to the other person or be choked. Those people have issues. But in general, people want the more sensual things, which is what you got from your mommy. Men want to suck on breasts. Why do men want to suck on nipples? Mommy stuff. I'm not making you guys wrong for it. Why do women suck on cocks? There could be some mommy stuff there, okay? Suckling is an infant mechanism. Suckling, being held, holding, chest on chest, eye gazing. When we nurse our babies, we hold them here Okay, we hold them here. Let me put this down. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this Food and Wine magazine. So we hold the baby like this. Okay. And then the baby feeds at the breast. So the baby is looking at mom the whole time, and they're eye gazing the whole time. This is why nursing at the breast is so much better than just handing your baby a bottle. You're eye gazing the whole time. You are eye to eye connected. So that builds the bond with mother and baby. It's the eye gazing. And when moms hold their babies, they hold them like this, and they will hold them on their left side. Now I'm using my other phone, so it's reverse switched, but this is my left side, okay? And they think it's because that way the baby feels the mother's heart. Moms will automatically hold their babies on this side, heart to heart, okay? So there's a lot of infantile wanting in us. I'm not making it wrong. I'm just saying it's a very primitive part of us that wants to pair bond. I think that pair bonding is a reseeking of going back to mommy, going back to the womb, going back to daddy. It's an infantilizing. Because mature adults are not coming into a relationship from the basis of that kind of need or dependency of someone to give you something. And most people enter relationships on the basis of this need, but they have this desire to be unconditionally loved. I'm not making you wrong for that. I would want that too. But those of us who are single have had to transcend, hopefully transcend beyond that to some extent, or realize the fallacy of that to some extent. Unless you're just like denying it completely and repressing it. But it's just to allow yourself to be like, okay, a lot of my desires, romantic love is really about a desire to become a baby again. Because you're looking for this high, this new relationship energy, which is temporary and transient. I'm going to go into that in a second. Let me stay with this point. You're looking for someone to unconditionally love you. And I've even heard people say a relationship will heal me because this person will love me in the way I was never loved. And I will love this person the way that I was never loved. That's messed up. And when people can't have their spouse, they're angry and they're upset. They will even shoot the other person. They will be angry. Hey, I'm not beyond any of this stuff myself, okay? I am also part of this broken system of looking for some kind of completion. For me, it's some kind of sexual completion in this romantic love. But let's talk about falling in love. Falling in love is a fall. Eckhart Tolle does talk about it as a fall. You've lost yourself. You've fallen. It feels really good. You're on this high. When they look at the brains of people who are newly in love, their brains resemble, supposedly, that of a heroin addict or cocaine addict. They're on this high. And if you remember this, initially when you fall for someone, you want to have sex all the time. You're excited about this person. You're on cloud 9. You feel so happy. You feel so elated. I don't ever want that feeling. It's temporary and it's crazy and it's a loss of self. But they say you need that to pair bond. I don't think you need that. I think some people more likely fall into that. But it doesn't last. And when it doesn't last, you come crashing down to reality. And now you see the person for who they really are and all the disappointments set in. But some people want relationships because they're chasing that high. They're chasing a high. They're chasing a drug of that new relationship energy. And people in long-term relationships have grown beyond that and they form more like of a friendship. And those to me seem like the most healthy ones, where you've been with someone for a long time, you've learned how to communicate, you enjoy each other's company, you've worked out all, you communicate honestly, you've worked out all the kinks. And yeah, you would miss the person if they're gone, but you have your own life. They have their own life, their own interests, and you have your joint interest. There's you, them, and the relationship. But I think a lot of people don't have them. They're looking to this relationship to complete them, make them happy, and give them what mommy or daddy never gave them. For me, it's more on like a sexual nature. It's like I was so unfulfilled sexually in my marriage. It's like I would want to feel sexually fulfilled, but then I would have to count on this guy. I would set up all kinds of dependencies on some person who would have to be a certain way to add into my life. So it seems like an unnecessary layer. And I thought years ago, I noticed stuff like, oh, this guy isn't texting me back. I'm so distraught. And then when he texted me, I would be happy. And I'm like, I do not like this. I do not like my mood depending on whether some guy texted me back or not. I do not like my mood depending on how someone is treating me. And I do not want to date anyone until I'm completely self-sufficient in myself, financially, mentally, emotionally, so I'm not so easily rocked, by these things. And frankly, being single, I'm not rocked. Sometimes in the mornings, I have a small feeling of, I wish someone was here with me, but what would that person really do? I was like, this morning I was thinking, yeah, it would be nice for someone to just hold me. That would be really nice. So I imagine a pretend person holding me. I'm like, I'm just going to have a pretend friend holding me. And I was good. After like 10 seconds, I was good. I forgot all about it. But if I had a real man, I would have all these expectations and disappointments and all of this stuff. And so maybe I'm just not cut out for it. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying that let's not stigmatize people who are single or who choose to be single, because the world is evolving, and learning to be content in ourselves is part of that evolution. Learning to be content in ourselves is part of that evolution. Being content, being alone, not because we're angry or we hate the opposite sex, but being content to be alone. Being content to be alone and not pathologizing it, and not pathologizing people who are introverts, as if everyone should be an extrovert. We're all different. I think we have to allow for our differences and not pathologize people who are single, or pathologize people in relationships, or pathologize introverts or extroverts, but to allow all kinds of life forms, because there are going to be challenges in all life forms. Whatever we choose, there will be challenges. I will say that my life is a lot more peaceful. I don't feel as secure. When I was married, I felt financially, I was secure. I didn't have to worry about money. There was a regular income coming in. I felt very loved. I felt very secure. I don't have that now, but I have peace, and I don't get upset, and I don't get disappointed. So, I just wanted to throw this out there, and I'm no longer mad when a guy doesn't. I'm no longer mad because someone's disappointing me about my spiritual practice or my spiritual pictures or the way I decorate or the groceries I buy or how I want to spend my money. I don't have to deal with that kind of friction. And that's really nice. But I do miss some of the other parts that I think would be nice, but I don't know if they would be nice. So, again, this video was just about that I think a lot of what people look for in a relationship is a substitute mommy, a substitute daddy, and to be loved in the way that only a baby can be loved. And we can never have that. We can never have that. There's no human out there who's going to love us unconditionally and fully the way that a good parent loved us when we were a baby. And if you disagree with me, just try cheating on your spouse and see how long they'll stick around and love you. You're confined in what you can do, and you may have agreed to those confinements, And that's another sweet thing too. You know, you see these old couples are out together after many years, and that's a sustaining of a structure that works for them. But I think a lot of us, as we're evolving, have to learn to be content alone. So I want to know what you think about that. And thank you for watching my video called Looking for Mommy in All the Wrong Places.